We can reminisce together about a movie. I think you've seen this movie enough to comment on it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I watched it recently.
I've seen it several times.
Good. I was saying, like, I wanted to choose a movie that I figured we both either we had access to, or at least we knew well enough to crap on. And it's Batman and Robin. And it may dip into us discussing Batman Forever because I have my beef with that movie. But
it probably will because I mixed the two of them together a lot.
Really?
By accident, yeah.
That's good. So my history of Batman Forever first, before I get into it, is that I used to love both these movies when I was young. Like, I used to think they were great. And then eventually, as I got older and I looked on the internet, everybody was like, Batman and Robin's one of the worst movies ever made. And I was like, that makes no sense. I used to like this movie when I was 5, so you're wrong. And then, getting older, you rewatch it, and after you learn things about filmmaking, and then you watch other superhero movies, you come to realize, oh my god, they're right, this movie's trash. But then, for that long period of time, I held in my head that Batman Forever is the good one. And then I also rewatched it. In fact, me and my friends, years ago, we're going to do a Batman night where we're just going to watch all the movies that I had. I had a 4-disc copy of Batman 1, 2.
Oh, did you have the 2 Michael Keatons and then those movies?
Yes.
Nice.
The 2 Burtons and the 2 Schumachers. And we landed on Forever. And I was like, oh my god, I hate this movie even more. But I think it's just because I forgot that this movie's also bad. So rewatching both of them, they're both, I would say Forever's still the better of the 2, but it's still awful. So I guess look, we might as well start with Forever. Why not? We're only 40 minutes in, so let's start with Forever. Starring
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, of all people, we love him. Tommy Lee Jones.
Let's start this party with a bang.
Okay, here's who I remember. Let me see if I get this correct.
Yes, it's spit off.
I remember Val Kilmer.
Yep.
Chris O'Donnell as Robin.
Yes.
This is the one with... No, wait. Uma Thurman is in the other one.
Yes.
Okay. So this would have Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones.
Uh-huh.
The same guy plays Alfred.
Yeah.
And
Do you remember the love interest? Who plays her?
There was a love interest.
There's a love interest, yeah.
No. Not at all.
Big name actress. She's still relevant today. Don't look it up.
I'm not. Shoot, what's the character's name?
Good question. Her name is Chase Meridian. Dr. Chase Meridian.
Oh, that's killing me. I know it's not Uma Thurman. She's in the other. I don't know who is
Nicole
it.
Kidman.
Shoot. Man, that would have been in the height of Tom Cruise era too.
Oh, absolutely.
She's gonna pop up later, also in birthday presents.
Okay. Yeah. So this was the first movie to be directed by Joel Schumacher. It was right after, or not right after, but a few years after Batman Returns, which I think the only reason why they switched to a director like him, who essentially made it very similar to the 60s television show with Adam West. Yeah, I believe that it was because Batman Returns is known for being the darkest of the Burton movies. Like, Batman 1 is dark, but Batman Returns just feels gross. Every time I rewatch it, it just feels cold and dark.
I've never been able to get through it.
It's not my favorite, honestly, but I respect at least the world. It feels like it fits with the other movies, and that's my whole thing of like the continuity between the two different directors. It just feels completely separate. Gotham is now no longer a city. Now it's got like giant statues all sticking out throughout it. It feels really weird and out of place, but I mean, I guess it's some fun set design or whatever. Val Kilmer is easily the better of the two if we're talking about who's the better Batman between Kilmer and Clooney, because Kilmer at least still tries to be brooding. My main problem with Clooney was that he just felt like George Clooney in a costume.
Why are all the gorgeous ones homicidal maniacs? Is it me?
He's just like, I'm Batman. Haha. Hello. How's it going? Like, he honestly is the most Adam West between the two. Val Kilmer at least still feels like he's kind of trying to do Keaton, where he's trying to be dark and mysterious and blah 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 blah, and it works. It works really well for that. But
well, I'm just to go back. I'm almost certain that Tim Burton was originally going to do Batman Forever before he and Michael Keaton spit out. You know, like that's part of the riff that's in that's interwoven into the Birdman plot.
True. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. God, I need to rewatch Birdman.
I know, me too.
well, I think the whole thing is that like maybe because even Burton still produces it, but I feel like it was a very, very light producing. It was just like, yeah, you can have your say, but we're not gonna like really do anything that you want.
Right.
Which goes to show, because like Burton didn't produce Batman and Robin, and that movie's way worse. So clearly, whatever he was involved with was at least somewhat good. But I just think that with both these movies, nothing really works. For one, the villains are awful. I don't know who decided that Tommy Lee Jones should be Two-Face. And it's like he got no direction other than to just laugh and yell. He almost feels like he's trying to do Joker, but it just... And I also hate the way his face looks. Like, it's that weird purple tint or whatever. Like, it doesn't look like a guy who got covered in acid.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey is essentially just Ace Ventura, but, the Riddler. That doesn't
I like
really
Jim Carrey in that.
I mean,
if I remember correctly.
I like him well enough, but then it kind of came down to this thing of like, oh, the Riddler has to be funny. He's supposed to be funny. So anytime, like when I was playing Arkham City, in fact, and the trailer for it came out, and it was the Riddler trailer. Everybody was like, well, the Riddler's supposed to be funny. What are they doing? And I'm like, no, he's not. He's a psychopath. What are you talking about?
That the Riddler is better than you.
Wasn't Robin Williams up to play the Riddler at some point?
Possibly. I know for sure, this is true, that he was up to play the Joker in Dark Knight.
Wow.
Yeah, he was up there. I think Steve Carell was also up there, and luckily enough, Steve Carell's a good actor. I mean, they're actually, both of them are really good actors, but I'm glad they landed on.
I would not be surprised. I feel like Robin Williams might have killed that.
Yeah, like, as an older Joker, it would have been cool, but, I mean, I'm glad we got Heath Ledger, because...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. I don't know, like... I think...
Heath Ledger in the second best performance of his career.
I mean, yeah, no, I'll give you that, yeah.
Are we agreeing?
It's been a while since I watched Brokeback, but...
Okay, but yes, you knew I was referring to Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, I'm like, they're 2 and 2 for me. They're high up there. I think if there's anything that I really like about this movie, I do like Chris O'Dowd as Robin in this movie. In this movie, it works well, because once again, he's still going through the whole thing of like, oh god, my parents got murdered by Two-Face, and he just wants to take out Harvey Dent. That at least has me, that at least works really well. But
is this the one where he steals the Batmobile and then fights a bunch of punks?
Yeah, so he finds it, and he's like, yeah, because we got confused about this, I think, on one of the previous podcasts. But, he finds it, and then he takes it to, like, some punk, it almost looks like that movie you were just talking about.
Because I brought this up before. I think it was VFW I was talking about, and I said that VFW reminded me of that scene, and I think I might have said it was Batman and Robin, because I mixed them up again.
Yeah, and I was like, it's definitely Batman Forever. I was like, I remember that scene in particular. There's also, like, there's this one other scene in that movie that kills me, and it shows how Two-Face became Two-Face, and it was like Harvey Dent was a lawyer, and he was talking to he was giving his final statement about insert name of criminal here, and the guy just has acid hidden underneath the desk that he's sitting at, and he throws it in Harvey Dent's face, and Batman, Bruce Wayne in the full Batman suit, who apparently was at the courthouse that day, runs up to save him. And also, by the way, there's like cameras going on in this well shot cinematic cameras being shot inside of this courthouse. Tries to block it, and of course he fails, and then Two-Face becomes Two-Face. And something about Batman just sitting in court in his costume kills me every time I see it. It's amazing. And every time, like, the first time I watched it, I was like, why did everybody think that was okay? That makes no sense. But yeah, I hate this movie.
It's like, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? And it's like, I do. Who are you? Yeah, I'm Batman, right?
State your name.
No, who's your real name? What is your real name? I'm Batman.
Bat. Last name Man. But yeah. So, if anything, this movie should have shown as a warning sign for what would be to come, which is Batman and Robin, which is widely known as one of the worst movies ever made, and I would agree. Which is funny because the first time I saw the poster for this movie, I was like, yes, that works. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dr. Freeze, please give me more. And I'm such an idiot because having watched Batman the Animated Series, and I forgot, you used to watch that back in the day, right?
The animated series? That was like my favorite television
show.
yeah,
because you've seen Master of the Phantasm. Yeah, you're not an idiot.
That's like one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
It's like, you're woke to the culture. So, like, do you remember how, that Dr. Freeze was like a cold, conniving, not conniving, but like he was just like he was literally cold, and almost
he was a cylinder.
Yeah, he was so focused on his goal of bringing his wife back, and like he wasn't messing around. He wasn't making jokes the entire time.
I mean, do you remember Sub-Zero?
From Mortal
Batman
Kombat?
Sub-Zero, the movie.
Okay. I thought you meant Mortal Kombat.
No, the movie.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that. I remember that.
The one thing about Batman the Animated Series, which is great, is that the Mr. Freeze backstory that they have in that show, they completely made up for the show. So when they put it in the movie, they got it from the TV show. They were like, that's good. That's better than the original one, which I don't even know what it was, but yeah, it was so good that they said, yeah, let's add that because that works. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is not the kind of actor that plays a role like that, where he's just a quiet, menacing person. He's just, I'm going to make one-liners the entire time, and that's exactly what he does, and it just does not work.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Also, I don't think there should ever be a Batman movie where the Batman villain gets the top billing.
What about Jack Nicholson?
I mean, I guess that's different because Keaton was relatively new, whereas this is Arnold Schwarzenegger and George Clooney in the 90s. Yeah. That makes no sense. But yeah, okay, what doesn't work with this movie? George Clooney sucks as Batman. Chris O'Donnell, everything that I liked about him in the last movie just gets thrown out the window. He's a whiny little the entire time. Like, literally his first line is, I want a car. Chicks dig the car.
Yeah, I remember.
This is why Superman works alone. I wanted to blow my brains out. Every time I hear those lines, it's so corny and so cheesy. And by the way, guess who wrote this movie?
Who?
Akiva Goldsman. Guess what else he's written?
What?
A Beautiful Mind.
What?
This is an Oscar-winning writer. I mean, granted, A Beautiful Mind came later, but still, I was shocked when I read that was him. I had no idea. But this movie just is so campy, and it just takes the camp from the previous movie and just turns it up to 11 to the point where it's just ridiculous. There's bat ice skates, and you just think to yourself, why would Batman ever have ice skates? Also, where were those hiding in his suit? That makes no sense. Or I don't know. There are moments where, like Dr. Freeze the entire time, like I say, he's making one-liners, like, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it was a comet, but all right. Or even Uma Thurman.
There is something to be said, though, and I guess this is more a compliment to Batman Forever. I love the Batman Forever Batmobile. The one with the bat symbols on the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Los Angeles to do the Lighthouse stuff and went to Warner Brothers, they had all the Batmobiles and everything out, and I took a picture of that one.
Yeah, that one I will admit is actually pretty sweet, and it has like the cool like blue lights when it lights up.
Right.
But this is also enters the era of them making Batmobiles that are meant to sell toys.
Yeah, because I'm looking in the background of the picture and I see the Batman and Forever ice thing.
So, like, the Batman and Robin one has, like, a weird disco ball in the middle of it. there's just like a weird spinning globe at the very top of the Batmobile, and I'm just like, what does that do? Like, we never know what that does. It just lights up and it looks cool, but it's like, what functionality does that hold? Also, this is Batman we're talking about, which granted, driving around a Batmobile doesn't make you the most subtle person ever, but when you have like neon lights shining out of your Batmobile, I don't think that helps.
Nope.
But also, this is the era of Batman where Batman shows up at what is it, charity events, where he tries to bet on which woman he wants to take home, which leads to the great Bat credit card scene where they bet money on Uma Thurman, he and Robin, because that's what we need. That's what we need in our Batman movie. And you know the saddest thing about Batman and Robin is the fact that this is the only movie, the only live action movie that had Batgirl. Is, as far as I can remember, the only live action movie to also have have Poison Ivy, and also the only live action movie to have, I was about to say Robin, but technically no, if we're counting Dark Knight Rises. But the only one to have Dr. Freeze. And Dr. Freeze, Dr. Freeze and Poison Ivy are both great villains. And with the right director, it could be done really well. Like, I'm really excited to see this Matt Reeves version, because he has a crap ton of actors in it playing villains, and I think that'll work really well. And I think if that movie does well and it's, people like it, then we can possibly get these actors again, or not these actors again, but these characters again to show up. Because it's like everybody saw Batman and Robin and said, okay, what didn't work? Okay, all of these characters in it didn't work. That's why they can't show up in any of the other ones ever again. I also read that, like, apparently Patrick Stewart was considered for the role of Dr. Freeze, which I think would have been way better. Like, 100% better in terms of acting ability. But, yeah, dude, like, I think that's the biggest thing about Batman and Robin for me, is that it really just put a bad taste in everybody's mouths when it came to cool Batman characters, because they just completely ruined them. But to be fair, we wouldn't have the Nolan movies without this movie. This movie is actually very important because it led to Batman Begins, which led to The Dark Knight. So, you have to give it some credit there.
Well, you gotta scratch out the rock to get to the diamond, I guess.
I guess, yeah. But, I don't know. I hope it leads to, I hope, like, at some point we get another Mr. Freeze movie, or a Poison Ivy movie, or even Batgirl. I know they were working on that, and then Joss Whedon gave up, but...
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, Batman and Robin's bad. It's a really bad movie. But I think it's also one of those movies where it's sorry, I just burped. It's so mainstream now, in terms of its badness, that, like, it's not even special. So, yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to watch, like, a classic bad movie, you might as well watch this. But, like, if you want trash, it's not the worst thing out there. But it's annoying. It's annoying, I'll say.
This is the worst blockbuster of all time.
I would even contest to that. I mean, I guess it's the worst blockbuster that actually did well. I mean, if we're talking Battlefield Earth, that's pretty bad.
Oh, fair, I guess. Is that a blockbuster?
I mean, yeah, I think it's
to the scale of, like, a Batman folklore situation?
Oh, let me see. Let's see. Batman and Robin costs 160 mil. Battlefield Earth costs...
I just feel like the Batman brand is, like, above...
Oh, I mean, yeah, Batman is 100% above L. Ron Hubbard, so
right.
you don't have to worry about that one.
Oh, L. Ron Hubbard did that. I'll need to watch... Where's that available? I will watch
good question.
That
Give me a second. I'll look it up. Yeah, Battlefield Earth is a time. Dude, Barry Pepper's in it.
Yes, and Travolta.
And Forrest Whitaker.
Yes. Okay, so I will need to watch this.
Let's see. You can rent it on Prime, or you could watch it on Crackle for free.
What's Crackle?
It's a Sony. It's like a free streaming service by Sony. But yeah, you should be able to.
I might need to watch that.
Yeah, you absolutely should. It's hilarious.